Sup everyone, Wave here. Today you're gonna react to the Eggman and why COD World War II was so bad. Let's get started.
Wow, look at this. A new Call of Duty game? And it's not set in the year 5 million AD?
What?
No, man. COD is returning to its roots, with boots on the ground combat, ditching all that futuristic crap that's been done to death.
Yeah.
Man, with
I hated the futuristic crap so much, I nearly bought this game. This would have been one of my biggest mistakes in life.
all the great COD games based in
$60
World War
man?
II and the advancements in technology since the
much money.
last one, this will probably be the best World War II game in years. I'm excited as can be, so let's check it out.
Imagine.
Oh God, this is
Bro.
awesome.
Yeah,
Though I
it
didn't
is.
realize it was going to be about
And
squirrels.
it's Conquest, man.
That's kind of weird.
One of the
Oh
best
wait,
games ever
wrong
made.
game. Hold up. There we
that
go.
was
All right, let's
nostalgic.
check this out.
No,
Oh my
it's not.
God! What have they done?
Hell no.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? Oh
Everything's bugged.
Jesus!
Error.
No, that wasn't meant to happen.
Yep.
Ugh. So why is Call of Duty World War II so bad, you might ask? Well, where do I even begin? Well,
Let's
let's
see.
just jump straight into the multi.
Is it weird that I don't see a difference between this and the newer COD games like Vanguard and shit like that?
Player and work our way up
It's pretty
shit
sad.
creek, shall we?
It's pretty
But
sad.
before we can actually do that, let's talk about how to access the multiplayer. Because for some reason, COD World War II copies Destiny's social space idea, probably so there's an excuse for players to
One thing I will never understand in my life is why grip skins are there. Who thought of this? Why is this in a game? I would have fired that dude immediately if he would even mention that shit.
watch others open supply drops, but also to unintuitively
Pathetic.
fuck with the multiplayer. Alright, so for every COD game, you'd be at the main menu. Click
Yeah.
multiplayer,
Oh, this was so nostalgic, man.
take 5 to 10 seconds to load, bada bing, bada boom, there
Especially
you
this
go,
one. Hmm.
you're ready to play. Now,
Them
first it has to
W2,
check your Xbox Live connection, then it has to fetch your online profile. On some occasions, this can take a minute or two. Then
Yeah, it
sometimes
is
you
what
get
it is.
placed into a wait queue. After that, the game needs to read your save device.
Oh.
Then you get another loading screen,
Oh.
which sometimes lasts upwards of 2 minutes, and finally, you
Insane.
arrive at the social space where you can search for a match. As well
Why do you use the social space? You can just press escape and get into the search menu. This is
as access a bunch of crap that could have
Why?
just been in the menus already.
Yes,
This is absurd. They have
exactly.
you jump through all these hoops because the game has to locate and put you into
Pure
this
time waste.
headquarters station with other players in order to access the matchmaking. To be fair, there's some cool and fun stuff you can do in the headquarters, like play old Atari games, test
That's
out the
cool.
kill streaks,
That's
and even
cool.
play some quick 1v1 matches. I'd be fine with this headquarters if you could choose to bypass it to get a faster matchmaking experience.
Yeah.
Now, since I initially recorded this video, the headquarters was thankfully fixed, and you're no longer required to go to it to access matchmaking. So I have to ask, why didn't you just do that in the first place? Enough beating around the bush, let's move on to the real deal. The real shit. It's back to basics with COD World War II, and if I could summarize this game's multiplayer, I'd say,
That's pitiful. I mean, it's absolutely pitiful.
oh my god. I think it degraded from the older titles. Like they didn't copy it, they copied it and made it worse. How is this possible?
Optimization, loadouts, one of the biggest strengths the series possesses, has been dumbed down to an extreme.
Yep.
There's fewer weapons to choose from than even World at War offered.
This
Only
is sad.
3 secondaries
This is
and
sad.
2 rocket launchers. You'd think being the greatest and largest war of mankind that it'd be quite feasible to add in plenty of unique weapons we haven't seen before, but no.
No.
The game recycles
Just the standard
17 of
one.
the weapons from World at War. Out of 32 choices, that's over half the selection. They're both World War II games, so naturally they'll have the more iconic weapons. This is only a problem because COD World War II has less weapon variety than World at War. It doesn't even make sense to include Russian or Japanese weapons in campaign or multiplayer because those factions are completely absent. So they
What?
also dumbed down the perks, and you just get one to choose per class. I mean, you also get division perks, but you don't really have a choice. This is wrong on so many levels. See, the reason why we all spent hours
Oh, I love this one.
constantly tweaking and changing
Always
our
hardline, man.
classes to achieve
We try hard.
perfection is because there were plenty of choices. You wanted to find a great synergy between weapons, ammo, lethal and tactical grenades, perks, and kill streaks. You know, if you took perks that gave advantages in firefights, you might run out of ammo quicker. Or if you wanted to be a more stealth-oriented class, you could sacrifice combat potential to be harder to pinpoint.
Yeah.
Or you could give up
I
your
love this.
lethal grenade for more flashbangs, whatever. There was so much to experiment with in past games, you could always try something new. There's no synergy here. Chances are you'll spend about 5 minutes setting up your class and only change them when you want to use a new gun.
Yeah.
Customization
It's
just
so
feels
sad.
so lackluster. God, and now you only get to choose between one lethal or one tactical
What?
grenade? Why? Why is the game actively giving us fewer sandbox elements to use, fewer options? Yeah, later Call of Duties overcomplicated the customization.
I actually liked it because it was overcomplicated, but if it's too dumbed down, no one will fucking care, man. Like, this is at least something you can put time into and I'm furious about.
In this area,
Try new
but
shit,
I
you know
honestly
what I mean?
prefer freedom of choice to this streamlined crap. Another
Exactly.
problem is the kill streaks. Now you might be thinking, how could a Call of Duty game fuck up the kill streaks?
Enemy nuke incoming!
Well, by making it absurdly difficult to get them. I'm glad the emergency airdrop made a return. All the kill streaks are actually fun and unique to use, but the costs are too high for certain
this
game
looks
modes.
pretty dope, man.
5 kills for a recon plane? Isn't that a bit extreme? Especially in domination.
Wasn't, like,
Sometimes you can
free
play an
back
entire
in the day?
game where the only thing a player gets is a recon plane. I mean, talk about boring. The
Recon
lowest streak you need is 3 to 4 kills for a Molotov, and even then you only get 25 points for getting a kill with it. Another part of COD's famous formula thrown to the wayside, as normal matches mostly consist of gunfights, with kill streaks being a somewhat rare occurrence. Although the gunplay in this
Damn.
game is pretty good, it feels satisfying to shoot people just as it always has.
Yeah.
But gamers should
Copy and
expect
paste.
that from a COD game, so it's not saying a whole lot. Sound effects are spot on, and balancing is much more balanced. SMGs don't dominate
Yeah,
quite
it
like
is
they
easy
used
to balance because there are no weapons in this game. Like, if you only have 2 weapons, it's easy to balance,
And
man.
each gun feels useful. Maybe Sledgehammer Games heard people's complaints about Infinite Warfare and thought, oh, our fan base wants a watered-down, recycled, poor man's version of World at War.
Exactly,
So let's give
yes.
them that. Well, no,
We want trash.
that's not what we wanted. We wanted the classic feeling of boots-on-the-ground Call of Duty set in World War
Yeah,
II
baby.
with all the things that made the multiplayer great in the first place. Oh, here's another thing, supply drops. Oh yeah, those things. You'll notice that supply drops are littered
yep.
all over this game's user interface. There's always an icon in the bottom right. You get supply drops for doing orders, contracts. At the end of games, it shows you everyone who got a supply drop. They're starting to force them into other parts of the game, zombie packs. Then you open them in
Finished.
front of everybody on the beaches of Normandy. There's even a challenge for watching people open loot boxes. You got that
What?
patent that was leaked. I mean, Activision is pushing the envelope on these damn things so fucking tough. It's irritating. I feel
Okay, this was back in the day when loot boxes peaked, I think, like Overwatch and shit like that.
gross for buying this game. I feel dirty. Someone spray me down or something. What do you actually get in the supply drops? Well, in short, a bunch of stupid, pointless shit.
Whoa.
What else is new?
Grip.
Grass is green, and Activision likes money? You don't say.
No
you
way.
get emotes so retarded they're actually funny, skins, and nothing special. But let me just open some
Yep.
to show you. Alright, so this is a regular supply drop. Let's see what we got. Calling card, grip. Alright, so that's pretty shitty. Alright, let's open another one. Grip, calling card bonus. Man, another grip? Hey, that one's no different from the last one.
yeah.
Alright, here's another one. Let's see what kind of stupid Man,
Oh,
another
oh,
grip.
legendary.
2 of them?
Trip.
Wait, what's the difference? One grip's epic, one's common? They look exactly the same. Alright, let's try this zombie pack. It should be pretty cool. Different stuff. Let's see. Christ, another grip! You gotta be shitting me.
way.
Alright, here's a rare supply drop. XP boost. Got fucking grips again.
This gives me like Overwatch loot box opening vibes, man.
Are you serious? My fucking god. 3 grips that all look the same. They're 3 different rarities. What's the difference? I guess I'll watch my buddy open some of these. Well, it looks like he got 2 grips. One of them called Strong Woman. Again, they all look exactly the same. All right, he's opening another one. God, another fucking grip? He got a duplicate. That's the grip he just got. Are you shitting me? Yeah, so as you can see, it's the worst thing in the world. The best part about
even if there are loot boxes, you need at least some things which are exciting to have. You just get grips all the time, no one will fucking care. In Genshin, you get like this insane shining, this insane character, and shit like that, or in any other game.
this is they've created
This is the only game which fucks up loot boxes. How?
a customization option that you can't even fucking look at because your dude is gonna be holding the gun all the time. Oh yeah, and having maybe unlocked 1% of all the crap in the supply drops, we're already getting duplicates. Fan-fucking-tastic. Just imagine, it's your job to think of what to put in these loot boxes. You've done this 5 or 6 times already, and you probably want to blow your brains
It would be easy work at least.
out. And you're doing
Or is it hard to program that stuff? I don't know.
this for a series that has milked the idea well completely dry. Now imagine being so lazy and uninspired you can't actually think of new content, so you just recycle emotes with different text and call it something new. I'm not kidding. This wave emote is reused 8 times.
What's
The
Basm?
shoulder dusting emote is reused 5
Amazing.
times.
Hubba
And the
hubba.
one where he shakes his head is reused 5 times as
What is
well.
this?
Let's take a step back for 1 second. You can literally unlock the same emote 5+ times and still
No
get
way.
duplicates of a recycled emote. What the fuck? Basically, the supply drops in this game are about as satisfying to open as it would be to, say, take a pile of shit that's been pissed on, put that into a nice Ziploc bag, throw it into your refrigerator for about a week, and then if you were to open that and just take a big whiff of that piss-covered shit, that's exactly how you would feel opening these supply drops.
Yes.
Aside from that shit, the game is pretty damn
Can't argue
buggy.
with that one.
It's not quite Battlefield 4 or MCC, but it's still terrible. In fact, they even had to turn off the social space because that was causing too many problems. I played a 50-minute zombies game and it didn't keep track of the game or my progress. I ran into this asshole called Matched Player. Gee, what a dumb gamer tag. UI is just a nightmare to navigate. I mean, look at the main menu. It looks generic, simple, and uninspired. But when you get deeper, you find there's so many sub-menus, it's convoluted and unnecessary, you don't know where to find your shit. When you unlock stuff, it doesn't tell you what weapon it's for, so you just gotta take a shitty guess. All those grips I mentioned are a part of different weapons, but again, it doesn't tell you what weapon they're for. Even in
Why?
this collections tab, you can't equip any of this stuff. How is this even organized? Why are there categories for weapons, but when you click on them, it shows you calling cards, emotes, and outfits? Oh hey, here's a good idea. Why don't you make categories for calling cards, emotes, and outfits? Every load screen is punctuated
Imagine.
by an
It would be too
obnoxious
much effort, I
logo,
guess.
which will sometimes fade to black, then reappear slightly larger with another load screen. The game can hardly manage to load your different division classes. I mean, at the end of each game,
What the
the
hell?
scoreboard is just a still frame that then loads
Wait. What is the scoreboard?
division classes. I mean, at the end of
Look at this. It only shows kills. Where deaths assists.
each game, the scoreboard is just a still frame that then loads
How
the
can you-
post-game lobby where you can see people do stupid emotes and get loot boxes. It
Nah,
might
man.
look nice, but priority goes to usability and convenience. People are gonna think I'm nitpicking about all this stuff, but when you make a good user interface, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. But when you do fuck it up, it's very noticeable and irritating. But all this trash I've been putting on the table pales in comparison when it comes to the actual gameplay, especially the map design. Despite the number of COD games we've had over the years, I've always felt a strong suit of the series was in its creative map design and selection. With so many shining examples, you'd expect COD World War II to take some inspiration and notes, right?
I don't know the map name again, but in this one. Wait a second.
Examples, you'd expect COD World War II
Exactly this one. This is one of my most played maps. Like, I love this one.
to take some
Was this remastered in MW3? Like this from COD 4, but
inspiration and notes, right? The maps are pure garbage. I'm truly stunned. It seems not a thought or ounce of creativity went into them. Sid Meier once said, "A game is a series of interesting choices." However, the people that designed COD World War II have obviously never heard of this. First off, so you've got 9 base maps and 3 for the war mode, which is pretty shitty. However,
That's
7
sad.
of those 9 maps are flat, small, 3-lane maps that offer nothing unique or different from one another.
Insane.
Gustav Cannon is the only good one because it actually feels open. It's like they tried to make something different. These
like try something different where, I don't know, a train drives through every now and then or shit like that.
maps are boring
Like
and
neutral objectives. That would be insane.
generic, the type that are supposed to be a one-off filler. Like, oh yeah, this is alright, I don't mind playing it. There's hardly any high ground or low ground, and don't offer heights above the second story. Power positions, hidden areas are non-existent. Environmental
Yeah, the
conditions are
cockpit and-
nowhere to be found. No explosive
That's insane.
barrels, no gates to open, or rockets taking off in the background. Every map is surrounded by invisible barriers, so there's no risk of falling off the edge. They have no interaction aside from turrets placed in the most inconvenient locations. However, it gets worse. Any cover, barrels, or whatnot are surrounded by invisible barriers. Why
This is
is it
sad.
the newer COD games especially are so reliant on these invisible...
Like this was insane. I don't know what this was. Infinity Advance. It doesn't matter. Like they gave you this amazing system where you could jump around like crazy, do double jumps and shit like that, grapple hook or something like that, and you can't do shit with this stuff. This is sad thing.
walls to create their maps. In fact, the reason I like USS Texas is because you can actually jump on stuff. It's
What?
the one level that isn't plagued by invisible fucking barriers on every piece of cover, and it has some modicum of height advantage. You might also notice there's no large maps and only one medium
nice
size.
headshot.
That's because Ground War was replaced with War. Sounds like a familiar move to create a new, inferior, big team battle mode that replaces the old one. You know, where have I seen or heard that before? Just when you thought the maps couldn't get any more shit.
Halo,
They offer
no.
so few options for movement and
Don't give me that.
gameplay that they've already become tired. Here's your typical choice. Go left, go middle, or go
Go
right.
right.
And there's little deviation from this formula. Go left, go middle, go
Go
right.
right.
Go left, go middle, go
Yeah.
right. Go left, middle, right. Left, middle, right. Left,
Insane.
middle, right. Left, middle, right. God fucking damn it, do something creative. But to showcase and prove that Call of Duty was actually good at one point in time, let's look at the last
Imagine.
World War II game, World at War. Alright, so we got this map Airfield, and already you can probably see there's a huge difference. Mainly in the amount of ways I can move around, right? I mean, just look at how expansive it is. That isn't part of the background or anything. You can
can
run
walk
along
there.
all those open
Yeah.
paths. And just check this out. Holy shit, you can jump on that truck. What a fucking revolution this game is. You can,
Damn.
wow, you can jump on this stuff? No way. Oh, what's that?
So
Oh, that's
advanced.
an explosive barrel. Oh, check that out. There's some cars right there. Oh, I'm gonna fuck that up with a cocktail. Yeah, I mean, look at that. You got stuff
environment.
that explodes on the map. That's unique. It's interesting. It's a dynamic. I mean, look at how open this map is. Just imagine all the
Imagine.
different gameplay variety that can be had here. Well, let's look at another one. We got this map
Just make World at War, but upscaled, like a remastered one.
castle. Now, already, it's got a pretty defined style of being set in a Japanese castle. Again, look at the design. This is a small, medium-sized map, but look at how much room there is to move, how much there is to navigate.
Exactly.
It's not just a set few paths.
That's
that
also
you-
the thing. It was also easy to predict where enemies were going. No, not on this one. I mean on newer and modern COD maps. You can literally camp them out. You don't need to learn how to aim properly and do shit like that. You need to learn how the enemy spawns, and that's actually it. If you know this shit, then you are a god gamer in COD. It's nothing special.
have to go down. I could hide behind that
It
wall
takes no
there.
skill.
I could hide behind here. You know, I can run
To be good
around
in
to
this
the
game.
back. I can, you know, set up shop in the middle or move around to the right to flank. I mean, there's so much more to do in these maps. They're so much better and dynamic. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I've got a height advantage. Man, if I had a bazooka and a sniper up here, this would
Like,
be a
this
pretty
something
good
different,
tower position to play from.
unpredictable,
Oh, look,
and I love
there's
shit
even
like
another
this.
tower over there, which someone could use to snipe at me. And I got a great cover view of this area down here, meaning this position is probably very sought after. All right, one final example, CeeLo. Wow. Wow, this is huge. And doesn't it say something when just a normal map
Could,
from
like,
a
hide in
previous
the
Call of
bushes.
Duty game is even bigger?
That worked pretty well for me. I can still remember I abused those bushes and they never predicted me. I waited till they walked past me, and then I shot just 3 guys down.
Then the war
Jeez.
modes, like
No
where's
problem.
all the kill barriers? Where's all the walls you can't get past? They're not in this fucking game because it didn't need it, because the developers knew what they were doing when they made the game.
Imagine.
Big Team Battle would just be so fucking awesome on these maps. Look, you got that big underpass right in the middle. You can go up on the train tracks. It's interesting. Then you got these rice fields that you could hide in, theoretically. I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Those are
The
not
maps
rice
are
fields.
inspired. They have a certain style about them, a feel,
With some
freedom of
wheat.
choice, a tank there. You can get in that tank. My point is, no matter the size, most of the previous Call of Duty installments always managed to make the maps feel open, like you had options, or offer some gimmick that made them just a bit more unique. World War II doesn't offer anything special in this regard, except in the war mode, which has better level design than shit, but not by much. It's still 3-lane garbage
Imagine.
with very few options to deviate. Now take a moment and look at operations in Battlefield 1, which is pretty much what the war mode
The
is
last
based
good
off
Battlefield
of.
game.
The maps are huge, sprawling canvases with 64 players fighting across battle lines, pushing
Look at
back
this,
and
man.
forth for control in airplanes, vehicles, tanks, trucks, everything. There's a distinct level of freedom. The angles from which you can attack or defend are countless. Sure, it has kill barriers, but they're there to balance the game without forcing invisible walls everywhere and restricting it. Now, back to Call of Duty. You're in a heavily confined area where once again, you're forced to go down one of 3 paths for 20 minutes, and that's the entire mode. This is supposed to be all-out war. However, it feels exactly like a normal COD match, except with progressive objectives and no kill streaks. You can get into a tank, storm the beaches of Normandy with AI soldiers that die for no reason. You can destroy and repair walls, but aside from that,
yeah.
the mode is plagued by the same problem. Lack of options. Feels too tight and enclosed with ridiculous fucking kill barriers and invisible walls.
Wow.
Oh shit, I gotta retreat. Don't worry, I got 20 seconds, I can make it.
12 seconds later.
No way.
Fuck that, I just blew up for no
No
reason.
way.
And it's such a shame because this war mode could be so freaking awesome. It could be the best part of the game. But they applied the same terrible philosophies from their base maps into here instead of trying to innovate and really expand and say, you know what, fuck the boundaries, fuck the kill barriers, let's just make something huge and unique, something that Call of Duty's never seen before.
For Eggman, that would be something called effort. We don't do this here. We don't do this in the modern time. What is wrong
Let's
with you?
just do that. Let's go balls to the walls. But they didn't. It doesn't matter if a game has the most perfect, refined mechanics ever made. If you've got shit maps, you've got shit gameplay. In
Yep.
short, the maps suck. Now you might be thinking, well, the rest of the game is pretty bad and dumbed down, but zombies, man. Zombies is always good. Oh.
Zombies. Every new COD game, just don't care about zombies anymore. It was so hype back in the day. Black Ops 2, man. WWII, it was something else. It wasn't called zombies, but it was just basically surviving waves of enemies. And now, I just don't care anymore because we put zero effort in this shit.
Except it's not. Oh sure, it's got a cool opening cinematic, but that's about it. This is a classic case of simplicity versus complexity. In fact, Zombies has more customization than the actual multiplayer.
What?
And that's not a good thing. It's convoluted for this type of gameplay. You got 3 perks, weapons to choose from, you got loadouts, you can customize your weapons that you might get. In addition to the perks you can buy in-game, there's attachments you can equip. You got these ultimate Overwatch abilities for some reason. I mean, what happened to just starting the game and playing it, seeing how long you could survive? Why bother with all this crap? On top of this, the whole style and charm of Nazi Zombies is completely gone. Now look, I know it's made by Sledgehammer Games, but seriously, it again feels generic. You can't repair walls, and what happened to the mystery box? Why does it look like shit? Doesn't have that nice jingle to it either, or the creepy little kid sound effects.
I love this one.
It's tear 'em up time. Sweet.
When waves start, there's no longer that
Good
cool
old days, man.
music that makes you kinda terrified.
Damn.
And just look at the difference between what happens when you grab a power-up in COD World War II versus Black Ops.
Yep.
Double points.
What? I didn't even notice the other one before that. What?
This game doesn't even have an announcer, so most of the time I didn't even notice we were getting power-ups because nobody was saying anything.
Just saying
And
that.
another thing, when the mystery box disappears, there's no audio cue, so you don't know unless you're talking to your buddies. What happened? The characters you play as don't have any funny or memorable lines except for constantly fucking grunting all the time. Part of what made Zombies great was they featured exaggerated stereotypes that would make you laugh in between gameplay.
You're a walking fucking cliche, Takio.
Like a Russian communist who, when he doesn't have enough points to buy something, remarks,
Why do we not share the points?
or a German Nazi who really fucking enjoys killing zombies.
Yes! Yes, explode!
Your classic American tough guy swears a bunch.
Imagine.
There's just something so beautiful about blowing shit
Like, new games can't replicate this shit. Why?
up.
And then the incredibly honorable
they want
Japanese
the,
samurai.
My weapon is low on honor. I will soon need ammunition.
I mean, it's great. I love
Okay,
these
this was the
characters.
best
I don't
one.
give 2 fucks about these nameless nobodies. Might as well just have them be the nameless soldiers in Nacht der Untoten, because at least that way we don't expect them to have character. And then when you hit level 5, there's another layer of customization, Raven research, like who needed or asked for all this shit to be put into zombies? Who wanted this? And if there is a sizable portion of people that enjoy this type of gameplay, why not make 2 maps and offer both styles of gameplay so that you please everyone? I'm not saying the game needs to be exactly like the other zombie modes, but if they're going to get rid of all the style, charisma, and charm, you gotta replace that with something, and they didn't. The whole point of Nazi Zombies is to be a survival game where you carefully considered what doors to open, weapons to buy, when, but now the game gives every player a Wonder Waffle just for progressing through the level. Look at this. Am I supposed to feel threatened? Is this supposed to be difficult? Why should I feel threatened when I got the best gun in the game for free and an infinite ammo power-up that has such a short cooldown?
What?
And when you get down, instead of being severely punished like you should be in a survival game, nah, you get revived in time, you get all your shit back. There's even zombie packs that give you one-time power-ups like nukes, max ammo, and even something that automatically revives you. I mean, what the fuck is all of this? The map is a convoluted mess, as well as having almost no areas that you can hold out in. You're pretty much forced to play run and gun style. It's just an unnecessarily complicated version of zombies with no soul. But if you like that sort of
in the newer Zombies, it was basically too dumbed down, I think.
thing, maybe you'll enjoy it. Me, I think it's trash. Surprisingly,
still the
I
same?
think
I
the
can't
best part
remember
about
exactly.
COD World War II is the campaign. This is where I had the most enjoyment. Unfortunately, there's still so many problems. Beyond this point, there will be spoilers, so skip ahead to the time on screen if you don't want to hear them.
I don't
The
care.
intro boldly
Let's see
states 60 million people died. But we aren't going to show you the perspectives where 80% of those losses took place. It also tries to mimic the intros for the older Call of Duty games with this sort of retro visual style, but this style is never seen throughout the rest of the campaign, so it seems out of place. Now, for a second, let's again go back to World at War. Right from the start, the player understands the style of the game as gritty, dark, and creepy. The music at the main menu sets up the atmosphere for the rest of the game. It's unsettling.
This even kind of traumatized me a bit, but it intrigued me also so much about history and shit, and this is why I got into it.
It has the feeling of terror. It carries a
Like World at War, the campaign was something every kid should play. Like, I'm just being honest,
sense
man.
of trauma, loss, and a bleak future. So when you boot up COD World War II, what sorts of impressions do you get from it? To me, it's just generic. Now, in the campaign, the story has a more brothers in arms sort of feel, which I do like, and also harkens back to the title of the series.
Lieutenant, tell them what we're all about.
No mission too difficult, no sacrifice too great. Duty first.
I can't hear you.
No mission too difficult, no sacrifice too great. Duty first.
That's right. Now get ready to move out.
You know, duty first, which I thought was a nice touch. I think the issue I'm having is COD World War II's entire style feels generic. It's too upbeat and doesn't commit to a visceral World War II experience. There's not much focus on the horrors of war aspect until the very end of the campaign, and even when you're in the concentration camp, you don't see any terrifying obscenities depicted in some of those old photographs. Not every piece of media needs to go for the same type of thing, but when you're telling a realistic World War II story, you really should commit to portraying what it was like. The story has some nice characters, dialogue, the cinematics are impressive as fuck. I felt a decent connection with the other soldiers and a much stronger connection with my protagonist,
Oh, really?
Daniels. The story follows his perspective as he waged war against the German army. Starting with D-Day, Daniels periodically writes letters to his older brother about the things he's going through. There's some cool flashbacks, and I felt like Daniels was a great protagonist. Probably the best part was near the end, your buddy gets captured, and Daniels gets an honorable discharge, so he's free to go home. It shows a cutscene of him returning home to his woman, who's pregnant, of course, war
Yeah,
cliche.
it's
And you think the game's gonna
pretty
end on
generic,
that
man.
note.
But the
right
cutscene
there,
looked
Red?
great, man.
We gonna talk or we gonna hunt?
It
You
looks
should
great.
be proud. You ruled your fear, you held your own. Nothing more you can ask of a man. It's the best feeling in the world, ain't it? Facing down hell and coming home a bona fide hero.
But nope, Daniel cuts off his vision because he can't go home without saving his buddy Zussman.
To the end.
To the end.
That was a nice twist. The end of the game has a really touching moment and a nice motif with symbolism, which I didn't see coming and quite enjoyed a lot. It's a quality, somewhat generic war story, but the best part was the way the characters interacted with each other throughout the gameplay and the cutscenes. There's charm and a few laughs here and there. These soldiers try to lighten the mood of a desperate situation, and I'll just play some of those moments for you.
Okay,
See the
let's
address?
see.
She wrote Daniels, not Red. Only one reason to be so formal. Hate to say it, I think she's cutting you loose. Or hey, maybe it's like Schrodinger's letter. You know, you don't open it, she's still your girl.
Hell of a Christmas.
Okay, that was decent.
Oh, yeah. Why would I want to be cuddled up by a nice warm fire with my gal?
Like these personalities, like these characters, don't seem like boring. Imagine these characters in an interesting setting, which is not generic. You know what I mean?
Freezing my ass off with you bastards.
Got some ammo, fellas.
Because we all played D-Day 69 times, man.
Throw it under our tree.
Kinda gets boring.
Now, it does kind of rub me the wrong way, what with the social justice warrior, political correctness aspects surrounding this game, that we see a British female fighting on the front lines and she doesn't do anything else. has no purpose in the narrative aside from, you know, being a woman. Then there's a French woman who gives some forced exposition about how her family was killed, and it's totally out of the blue.
The garrison is run by SS and Polizeiführer Heinrich. And he couldn't find me. He came for my parents. And my husband. And finally, my son.
She, on the other hand, is a French resistance fighter, so she makes sense. Next, there's a black mechanic who's the only black guy in the game, and it seems he was included, so we could have a scene like this, where all the white guys are like, what? A black guy?
No way.
I can't believe they let him fight.
Oh, yeah. They even let us die.
Then after the day is won, this happens.
I believe I owe you an apology.
You owe me a hell of a lot more than that.
Now, don't twist this into some I hate women and blacks bullshit. Diversity is great when it's utilized properly. But the mechanic Howard is introduced in the 9th mission, and they don't do much with his character except use him as a vessel to make the statement, black people are equal and can fight. This game had a great opportunity to do something profound and thought-provoking, but it seems the writers just settled for a cheap gimmick. Like they were trying to please people who wouldn't play the games anyway, who would only care if they heard, yeah, there's a black guy in here. Hey, here's a not-so-shitty idea. What if you introduced Howard and perhaps another battalion of black soldiers, and then have Daniels and his squad still remain skeptical? Then perhaps you have a few cutscenes where the race relations are boiling up, you know, heated arguments, maybe a couple fist fights, insults, you know, but the higher-ups stop it and get everyone back in order. Then through fighting, dying, and bleeding together, both sides learn to respect and accept the others as brothers.
Already a better story.
I was afraid of you, Julius. I only saw what I was afraid of. And now I know I was only hating my brother.
I think the reason this wasn't fleshed out is because Sledgehammer Games was too afraid to take risks, to show the ugly side of war, to actually portray
This is not a risk. It's just better storytelling, man.
Racism, or hatred, or vile, despicable acts. They played it too safe, and as a result, many of the plot points and characters don't resonate with the audience as strongly as other war stories. I think a greater point with all this is Sledgehammer just got spooked by all this modern outrage towards Nazis and, oh, racism is such a bad word nowadays. Everything can be racist. We don't want to appear racist. And so they decided to suppress all the offensive imagery. I said suppress, not remove entirely. In an effort to please the social justice warriors or whoever, COD World War II lost artistic vision by censoring the history it's based on. Damn shame too. Howard was pretty cool for the 1 minute of screen time he had. If only the writers had balls. There's a touching section where you rescue German civilians. I thought this was pretty special and a nice change of pace because a lot of World War II media tends to portray the Axis powers as entirely evil entities. But people forget those nations had civilians too. People caught in the crossfire. So it's good they brought a little light to that aspect.
I loved, like, in the older games that both sides did fucked up shit and that you could clearly see that stuff. That was a good thing about that. And
this is a story entirely about the American versus German side of the war, with small snippets of the French and British. It allows the game to flesh out your soldiers and focus entirely on one conflict and setting, but I would have liked to see other perspectives. This game has some great action as well. The only stipulation with this is the story feels like the newer modern games with its heavy emphasis on blockbuster.
Like, I have an idea right now. Imagine you would be this one Japanese soldier who wants to make his people proud, and they convoluted sense of honor with Bushido Codex and shit like that. Like, that would be fucking interesting. And how he would interact with his superiors, with his friends and shit like that. How they would truly behave in war and see the true gruesome stuff they did or the enemies did. How would they react? And this is the shit you want to see. And not some cheap, this is the 69th D-Day. Man, it's
movie-like action-y cinematics. QuickTime events are back and quite honestly ruin the pacing of sections that would otherwise make for great
I love how the
cutscenes.
X button
They work
is
in Resident
moving
Evil
around.
4 because they're incorporated into the gameplay itself. However, when the QTEs pop up here, it slows down the intensity in action when it doesn't need to. The main issue with the campaign is its gameplay. Of course, it's your classic COD formula of shooting bad guys with stealth, turret, and plane sections to switch it up. And there's even a mission where you play as a French spy and infiltrate a Nazi office. This was the most unique mission the game had to offer, and even though it's short and straightforward, I appreciate the innovation. Something different from the constant shooting. Now, the last COD I beat was Black Ops 1, so I could be wrong about the more recent games, but the levels are so linear it hurts. First mission after you storm the beaches is basically one long path you can't stray from. So out of curiosity, I pulled out some older games to refresh my memory and see if they have always been this linear. Funny enough, even Finest Hour and Big Red 1 gave you more freedom to move around in the first mission than this latest entry. The linear missions in World War II are plagued by, you guessed it, invisible barriers and walls, which again is a symptomatic problem the entire game faces. Now, it does have some cool new mechanics with your squad being able to give you power-ups, ammo, health, which is a nice touch and makes the moment-to-moment gameplay more interesting.
That was cool.
They also brought back health packs, which I thought was awesome because now the decisions you make are much more impactful, as well as returning to the roots of the original Call of Duties and straying from the regenerating health we've seen for the last 12 years. Some later missions do open up just a bit, but not by much. So this game also has a tank section. You're in a very enclosed, tight space with little room to maneuver, which kinda defeats the purpose of being in a tank when you can hardly move around. But again, back to World at War. Same era, same series, but look at this. Wow, I've got so much room to move about.
Man.
There's enemies way off in the distance I can shoot at. I'm not restricted to a single path. It feels like real tank warfare. Another example, compare the first missions of both of these games. World at War, you're a POW in a Japanese camp. Some shit goes down, you start the level, and what's this? Different paths I can choose? The enemies are spread out, and I've got multiple routes and options to get through these encounters? My point is to highlight the way Call of Duty games have changed their design for the worse. How what they've done in the past really could have helped them out here. They were still linear, but always offered player freedom. COD World War II's campaign is decent, dumb fun, but won't warrant a second playthrough. To summarize, this game is a return to boots on the ground, but it's plagued by annoying technical problems, the most aggressive microtransaction system to date, piss-poor map design, lackluster customization, an overcomplicated, stupidly easy zombies mode, and a bunch of other shit. While it does have a half-decent campaign, that doesn't give it much replay value, and that's not why people buy into the series. I'm just thoroughly unimpressed with this newest game. It's gotten so boring so quickly that I've already hopped back to Battlefield 1. You know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I've just been playing Call of Duty for so long that it's just run its course for me. Perhaps the formula just doesn't have the same appeal it used to. Perhaps all the innovations and new ideas that...
man, many people see it like you, me, and like 90% of every other game.
Change Call of Duty are just things that they're not gonna try. All good things pass in time.
They do some pretty good things, but these things are irrelevant to the normal gamer. That's the thing.
And maybe this once great series has simply lost its luster.
Like, look at these graphics.
But what do you think? What was your favorite or least favorite part of Call of Duty World War II? Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Act.
Red video, already liked it, and yeah. This was kind of a nostalgia trip to COD World War II. And yeah, back in the day, times were different, man. Would all changed, or not so much changed in case of COD. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I just want to say that your insane support is what? I got 303 subs. You're already above 300. Thank you a lot, man. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and sub if you truly wanna support me, and subscribe to Eggman as well. Like, he does great content. You can always watch that shit. It's great. I rewatched some of his videos because it's just high quality and it's something you can watch every now and then. And yeah, thank you so much. I see you next time. Wafer out.